Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I wanted to share a read-along announcement with you. So last year, I hosted a read-along of all the Mistborn books on my channel, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed being able to reread Era 1 and then read Era 2 for the first time and discuss it with friends. If you attended any of those live shows, you will have seen Rich, who doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he does have a really great Instagram where he actually mostly posts really beautiful nature photos. But anyways, Rich talked a lot on those live shows about Anathem by Neal Stephenson, and a lot of the other people had wanted to read that book for a while and hadn't, and I hadn't heard of it until Rich kept talking about it and bringing up Anathem parallels. We thought it would be really fun to host an Anathem read-along this year, so that's what we're doing. Over the months of March and April, we will be reading Anathem. We are spreading it out over 2 months because it's like almost 1,000 pages, I think. So we wanted to make it so it was a little more doable. It will be the exact same co-hosts as last year. So Rich, who I already mentioned, Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads, and of course, myself. We're only doing 2 live shows for this, so we'll be doing a halfway live show and then a concluding live show. And we're doing it that way so we can talk as we're reading it, but also to kind of keep us accountable, keep us on track, so that way it's not just one massive live show to discuss an entire 1,000-page book. Like, that would probably end up being a really long live show. So the first live show, which is the halfway one, will be on March 22nd at 1 p.m. on Stephanie's channel. And it actually is just a little bit more than halfway because it looks like there's 13 parts in Anathem and we'll be reading parts 1 through 7. But Rich said that this is like a really good stopping point, breaking point to discuss. The final live show will be on my channel on April 19th at 1 p.m. also Eastern time, and that will be discussing the second half of the book. Also have a Discord for those of you who don't know. Probably a lot of you do. I will link that down below, and there will be an Anathem channel, so that way we can discuss as we're reading, and that will be really fun to just kind of keep going throughout there and then be able to discuss themes and other major plot points and things on our live shows. I'll also have a link down below so that way you can find Anathem and where you can purchase it if you are interested in joining along with us. I think that Anathem leans more on the sci-fi end than fantasy, but I could be wrong because it has both of those tags on Goodreads along with speculative fiction, but I don't really know anything about this book, so I'm going to read a little bit of the description on Goodreads so you can just get a little taste of what this book might be about. It says, a Fra Erasmus is a young Avout living in the convent of St. Edhar, a sanctuary for mathematicians, scientists, and philosophers, protected from the corrupting influences of the outside secular world by ancient stone, honored traditions, and complex rituals. Over the centuries, cities and governments have risen and fallen beyond the convent's walls. 3 times during history's darkest epochs, violence born of superstition and ignorance has invaded and devastated the cloistered Mathic community. Yet the Avout have always managed to adapt in the wake of catastrophe, becoming out of necessity even more austere and less dependent on technology and material things. And Erasmus has no fear of the outside, the extramuros, for the last of the terrible times was long, long ago. Now, in celebration of the week-long, once-in-a-decade rite of Apert, the Fras and Sirs prepare to venture beyond the convent's gates, at the same time opening them wide to welcome the curious extras in. During his first Apert as a Fra, Erasmus eagerly anticipates reconnecting with the landmarks and family he hasn't seen since he was collected. But before the week is out, both the existence he abandoned and the one he embraced will stand poised on the brink of cataclysmic change. That sounds really interesting. It sounds like it's going to deal with some really interesting themes. I love a good fake religious system and fake political systems within sci-fi and fantasy, and this definitely sounds like it's got that religious component. I just find it really interesting because it usually explores so much about human nature and all of those kinds of things. So I'm really excited to dive into this book, and I hope that you will join us. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on joining us, and if you've read this book before. I would love to hear if you enjoyed it or not. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.